Hey peeps, get my lighting right. Boom. There we go. So, like the title says, this is about trusting intuition and saying no. And this is a really important thing for people when they go to ceremonies or any of these. And ceremony is kind of a loose word. It can be event. It can be, all kinds of things. But basically, when you're going to a spiritual retreat, a ceremony, an event, or whatever, you're um, you're putting yourself in a very trusting position of the person who's actually running this ceremony. I mean, you have the host; they could be the person running the ceremony. You have the host or hostess that's invited this other person in. In other words, if I had a property and I invited someone in, like a very dear friend, Holo, do sweat lodge, then he'd be the operator of the ceremony. And he's someone who by the way, I really trust in Hungary. So, um, and I have a personal uh, preference. It's something that I do. When someone comes to one of my ceremonies, especially on the sweat lodges or the deep vision work, things like that, or even the deeper or high level energy work and group circles, I tell people, that I really want them to be able to trust their instincts and just say no if they change their mind about participating in anything that we're doing. And it's a really important process for self development to be able to trust your intuition and say no. And because too many times I work with people in a healing capacity or energetic realignment capacity where the people didn't want to go to the ceremony after they agreed to go there and then had a bad experience. And I'll give you an example. The example is like they say, hey, let's go to this person's sweat lodge. And a bunch of people want to go to this sweat lodge. And the one person in the group says they have a feeling, oh, yeah, I'd like to try that. I'd like to go. And then somewhere down the line, and time passes, they're feeling, well, maybe I shouldn't go. Maybe that's not the thing for me at this time. I don't know the person. I don't, whatever. And then they get ready to go into the sweat lodge. And then they're really feeling that they shouldn't do this. They feel some fear. They cannot explain it, but they go in anyway. And then afterwards, they're having bad dreams, bad experiences, feeling bad, and they don't know why. Well, I would prefer that you just don't go inside. And I've told people, and sometimes I can look at one person and feel that they're a little nervous, and I can take that person, privately and just say, how are you feeling? Do you want to go in? I don't know. I feel nervous. Okay, maybe not. Don't go in. You don't have to go in. You don't have to prove anything to your friends. You don't have to prove anything to me, you know, but I feel it would be good for me. Okay. And I would tell them, be the last one to go in. You're going to sit right beside me at the door. If any time, you want to get out, you just interrupt. It's okay to interrupt in this situation and say, Hawk, I need to leave. And I'm going to ask you to get out of the door and sit right beside the door. And if you feel bad, you can tell me, you know, and I'll stop what I'm doing and someone else can take over the lodge. Well, people ask, well, then, is the sweat lodge safe? Okay, what kind of a bad experience would someone have in a sweat lodge? Well, there's a wide a variety of reasons why the sweat lodge could have a negative effect, or the person that they're seeing could have a negative effect on them, or the property they're at could have a negative effect on them. And I could talk for hours on this, and I have on geomantic classes, but give you some quick examples. Unfortunately, there's a lot of self nominated shamans out there. There are a lot of self nominated gurus and um, you name it. People who can't function in a normal everyday life will try to do shamanism or the other spiritual work, to get to make their money. And the people just won't know what to do. And again, when a person comes to see me, or another shaman or shamanic practitioner, healer, medicine man, medicine woman, it's usually because things are not going well in their life. Very few percentage of people will come to see from curiosity or something like that. And they want to be open, and because they want to accept your knowledge, they want to accept the healing energies, the wisdom you have to share. So when someone comes to me, they're very open to me to be in their space, in their energy circle, and help them get right the things that they want to fix in their life. And ooh, hold on, I gotta see. Woohoo! Excuse me, sawdust, not COVID. So this is a position that's really a cautionary situation. And now I have to, when I'm working with a person one on one, I have to really be open. I can't ever think I know exactly what's going on with this person because everyone's unique. And then in the sweat lodges, if you have, 20 people who have never met me and they're coming into these experiences, and each one of them has something happening in their life that they want to fix, something they want to heal, that's a lot. I mean, that's a lot of openness, that they're coming to me for, but they're also open to the general environment. And this is something that the the new person, the amateur, doesn't really realize. So a person that's in a very fragile part of life is coming to the ceremony very, very open, looking for healing, looking for wisdom, and then they're also open to the other energies of the people there. And when people are open like that, they're looking for answers and they're willing to accept almost anything that's given to them, whether it's by the teacher, by the shaman, or by the people also there at the ceremony. Let's look at this. And here, at the same time, in many situations, their spiritual immune system is low because people usually wait too long to come to fix things. So now your spiritual immune system is low, and you're going to an area where many people have different issues happening at the same time, and you're going to pick that up too. All right, so it may not be the shaman, it may not be the lodge, it may not be the geographical location, the geomancy or the alchemy of the ceremonial structure. It could be just the environment. So I was talking to a woman that caught the COVID 19 in church. Okay, it wasn't Jesus, wasn't God, wasn't the church, it was the environment. So that's one thing. The other one is when you have the self-nominated shaman or amateur, they could just give bad advice, give you bad, not really knowledge, just bad theory, and then the person holds on to this information, and it starts the chain reaction of things happening within their body, and that can create chaos. The channels and the mediums that are not good and are not in their center. And that's something very important about a channel or a medium. They have to be in their center and very clear about it. They can be channeling or getting information, giving it to a person, and that causes the chaos within them. Um, in traveling the world, I get different audiences and I have to deliver my material in different ways. And as an example, in the Eastern Bloc of Europe, the post-communist bloc, those people had a hard time for a long time under communism. Probably my hardest audience were the Hungarians, and they were unresponsive, very polite people, very generous people, very welcoming people. but in the audiences, they just look straight at all of them, looking 200 people looking you right in your eye, and they want the truth. And unresponsive, it's hard to read it, but they're very, very technical about what you're saying, and they're really trying to, pick it apart. They don't ask questions, but if they come back the next night and there's more people, that's your only sign you get. And they really pick apart things for the truth. And I really respect that about them, you know. And when a bad teacher comes up in the neighborhood or through traveling their country, everybody will know about it. Right? But it was reading in Facebook today. One of the Facebook friends, Adina Pop, had written about a thing that happened with her, and it was about her conclusion was about trusting the intuition, and this is something that's so important, and especially with you women. This is so important with you women because the polarity of your own feminine energy is about bringing things in and manifesting them into something bigger. I mean, you do it with one cell from a man and create a baby, a whole human being, and that's how powerful the feminine cycle is. So and again, that's also why their intuition is stronger than a man's. So if you're getting the feeling that you should not be someplace, don't wait. Go. And I've had people who have done many ceremonies with me, many types of ceremonies and many sweat lodges, come to me just before they go into the sweat lodge and say, "Hey, Hawk, I don't know what it is, but I'm feeling that I should go. I shouldn't be here today." I'm like, "Okay, that's fine with me." Another aspect of what could be triggering that is astrological aspects they have personally. They could have something entering their house of health, okay, and which that the temperature of the lodge or the energies of the people around them can affect them in their house of health. And these are when there's different conjunctions or other aspects, that happen that can leave you vulnerable for more things to affect you physically, mentally, and spiritually. So again, these are people who trust me, trust my ceremonies and everything, but then still tell me like, Hawk, you said if we feel that we shouldn't be here to just say bye, go. And yes, absolutely. And this is something that every spiritual leader, every shaman should be doing, is really encouraging people to trust themselves. It is so important because this is where we help you rebuild the foundation of who you are. If you can't trust yourself, you really should not be trusting anyone, right? Another one that comes up is the ayahuasca ceremonies and all this other stuff. And this is just another thing that's just gone wrong in so many ways. Ayahuasca is a good tool, it's a good teacher because it allows you to have a good, different perspective. But so many people are doing the tourism on it, and it can just leave you more open to all kinds of chaotic results, more so than even a sweat lodge would. And it's just so important to be able to trust yourself. And I'm working with someone now who went through a ayahuasca ceremony and had bad experiences 9 years ago. Okay, 9 years she's still affected by this, and may not ever be as balanced as she once was. She'll heal, but then the scar in here is still present. And there was feelings where she should not be there, she should not do it, but she did it anyways because people put pressure on it. Oh, all these people are here, you have to do it. Oh, that's the spirits, they're testing you. Oh, so much time and material in it. Who cares? Go. If you don't feel you should be there, go. Or if you can't leave the area, don't participate in the ceremony. Go in the woods, sit in the forest, relax. But you have to be able to trust yourself on these things, people. And like I said, all your spiritual teachers, gurus, whatever, they should be encouraging you. And if you cannot trust yourself, if you don't trust your intuition, then the real journey is to figure out why. And when I've worked with people like this, it's usually some an instance where they had something intuitive, a message or a sign, they didn't obey it, and then something happened, and someone else blamed it on them about their feelings or their intuition. So when we can go back into these situations and journeys, we usually find out that the person was always getting the right message, but then they just didn't listen, and somehow the result got twisted. I am very optimistic, about the things happening presently. Here we are in October 2020, and a lot of truth will be revealed. I really believe that the people who are closer to nature will be seeing more clearly the truth about situations, people, the gurus or whatever, and we're going to see more and more of these self-nominated metaphysical leaders. You will see a lot more of that. As unfortunate as it is, it does provide lessons. It's how we interpret the effects of these lessons and so on. But the people, like I said, are closer to nature and clearer in the self acceptance part will be better at recognizing the truth about these things. People, I can't stress this enough. Nature loves people who love nature, and it will always guide you in the right place. Okay. You can always write me at shamaniclodge@gmail.com. I have a website, blueplanetshaman.com, that I'm keep threatening to work on more. I'm building my building my boat, so that takes most of my time. I want to thank people for the comments and the emails, for topics. Um, and if you can think of something, write me, and I'll do a video on it, or do something else. Maybe write something on the blog for it. Until then, you guys, do the best. Enjoy your life. Have a great time. I'll catch up with you later.